Rats eat eggs.
Hello, everybody. This podcast is Lava. My name is James Font. With me, as always, Sam Shoemaker and Kenny Williams, our very special guest. Thank you for joining us, Kenny.
Not a problem.
Are you so excited or nervous, or what are your feelings right now?
I'm not nervous. I'm excited.
You're never nervous. I don't think I've ever seen you nervous in my life.
No, I'm good.
And there's good reason for him not to be nervous.
Because he could beat us all up.
Well, that too. Sam, did you know he was in MMA? Currently, like he's still.
Oh,
what was it? What did you say?
I'm registered still for 2 more years.
He's registered for 2 more years.
If I get a call, I could take a fight right now. But
I did not
necessarily
know
with his foot. So we'll start with MMA. I'm going to turn my entire body so I can address both of you and sit extremely awkwardly.
All right, interviewer.
So
Hi,
Kenny. First of all, how do you know Sam and I?
You guys are both my clients. I cut your hair about once a month.
And
met you through Caleb Font.
And actually, I saw you at church for like years.
Oh yeah, I've known you around.
You've
forever.
known of me. Sam came to church the last couple of years.
Is your mom Ruth?
Yeah, my mom's Ruth.
Yeah, my mom loves your mom.
Yep, I know your mom.
Adores
my
your mom.
Yep, most people do.
Yeah.
But
I love your mom too, James.
Exactly. I don't know about your mom. No.
Yeah.
So, but that's how we've gotten to know you. And I will say, there's a whole video, I'm going to link it in the description, about him being a barber. And if you are in this area, contact me and I'll vet you, and then we'll see if you're worthy enough for him to cut your hair.
Absolutely. Hey, that's how it works. I got to have a screening process, or I'd be doing this
Otherwise,
every day, all day.
You'll just be getting random people contacting you.
Yeah.
But Kenny's a fantastic barber, and he's self-taught. And we're not going to go through a whole bunch of barbering stuff, mostly because there's a whole video about that, so it's already been done.
Yep.
So let's talk about MMA. How did you get into MMA, and how old were you when you got into MMA?
MMA started in my mid-20s, but it all led into my childhood, which was very rough. I mean, when I was young, believe it or not, I was like the smallest kid in my class, and I got bullied, bullied worse than you can imagine. I mean, beat up in elementary school, had a bully from kindergarten to 3rd grade that bullied me and my buddies, and we got put into public school, and then I got beat up because I was a Christian, and that's what made me.
Wow.
It literally made me not want to be a Christian because they ripped my necklace. I had a Carmen necklace. I remember they ripped off me. They ripped my shirt. I had a DC Talk shirt. They ripped it off. They went real mean names and got kicked in the ribs. I mean, the real bad stuff. I mean, I was pretty small. And when I got to a certain age, like I think 7th and 8th grade, my dad bought me my 2 25-pound dumbbells, and my cousin Jordan Williams taught me some self-defense moves, and I started lifting every day like it was my job. I had a mirror. Every day I was like, I lived my mirror.
How old were you?
About 12.
That's awesome.
12 to 13, man. All I had was these 2 dumbbells, and I just did everything I could think of with them. And
like you were strengthening your nose muscles with them.
In my mind, I knew I was like, I'm going to be able to take the people that have been picking on me. And sure enough, getting bullied for so many years, my dad gave me a little card, and I kept in my wallet. And it even said, if my son gets into the office for defending himself, don't punish him. I will come pick him up. Because they knew about it at school, how bad it was. And
that's ridiculous. So, I don't know. What
they could, like, the teachers wouldn't.
They did. They tried to intervene, man. My mom and dad went to the school, and I got beat up worse, you know.
Yeah, because then you were like the tattletale or whatever.
And the rat, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, I remember I was in 8th grade in science class when my one bully was just picking on me, kicking my chair, and I turned around, right hooked him, knocked him straight out over a table. Oh my God. And before my science teacher could yell at me, I'm like, I know. I started walking to the office, got to the office, and the principal closed the door, and they actually gave me a hug. I said, Rob said, we'll call your dad. He'll come get you. My dad came and got me, took me to Dairy Queen. I mean, for real. And then it was
that's the way people who are getting bullied should be treated.
Yeah, and I was still little because I hit a 6-inch growth spurt in between 8th and 9th grade.
Yep.
And it was awesome. I couldn't even believe it. My dad told me he x-rayed my arm when I was little. He's like, Kenny, you're going to grow, because they can x-ray your arm from right here, and you'll see how much growth you got.
Yeah.
And I was real skinny. Even my senior year, I only weighed 150 pounds. I was a senior. Oh, wow. I was a wrestler in high school. I was 6'1", 6'2", 150. I was a string bean, but I was ripped, man. I had a 6-pack, and I was fast. And then when I got to Fort County, I met Gene Campbell, and he started wanting me to box. So I started boxing. I boxed for 2 years. We actually started a thing called Fight Club before it was a movie. And no, hand to God.
Were you guys low key like, okay, we got to talk to this Brad Pitt guy because he totally stole
he did this wrong.
Ours wasn't like in that, bare fist, but my mom and dad were involved. We started by taking tube socks, wrapping around our knuckles, and then we put another one over there and we'd rubber band them. And we had a legit thing every weekend. We'd have guys from Delta, Napoleon, that heard about it. And we'd fight in the backyard. My mom and dad were recording it. And
do we have any of these tapes?
I don't know. I think my dad deleted them all because there was a couple pretty bad. I knocked a couple guys out pretty good, and stitches were involved. That's when my dad's like, I'm done. And then they bought us real boxing gear and headgear and everything like that. And then I started getting into the circuit and just, 16 to 18, I boxed. I think I was 20-1. I got my clock cleaned one time real good up in Michigan. Besides that, I don't think I ever lost.
And you went, I'm not getting my clock clean again.
No.
You just kept
I didn't even get knocked out. I mean, it was a decision, but everybody else was knockout. And
wow.
There's a couple guys that got, it was a draw. And then I got out of it for a little while and got into arm wrestling. I did competitive arm wrestling.
Oh my goodness.
I actually got a big tattoo right here of an arm wrestler. I mean, I was semi-pro for like 2 years. I mean, I did tournaments up in Michigan, Indiana.
That's crazy.
And then from there, I kind of got out of it and started doing...
Real quick. Why, if you're watching the video podcast, he has a tattoo on his knee that's, it's brick wall. Now,
that's from MMA. I knocked out so many people with my left knee, bringing it down, and that's when the dude's like, dude, your knees are bricks, man, and got drunk one night, and I said, let's tattoo that. That's literally where that came from.
And that's what I heard that story, and I was like, I need to hear it from Kenny.
Yeah.
Anyways, so you got out for a while, and then you got back in.
And I got out and got with life, I got married young to my ex-wife, which is, it's, you don't ever want to talk about that. It wasn't a great time in my life, but I got my kids out of it. It's the only good thing that came out of it. God has a reason for everything, and I got into law enforcement. My plan was to go to the Marine Corps, but she got pregnant real young, and my dad, he said, I didn't raise no runner, so he gave me money. He said, go, you're gonna marry her. I said, yes, sir, because I really respect my dad, and I do whatever he tells me to do, pretty much. Didn't really want to, but it lasted as long as it could. You can't make something last that's not there.
No, and
then you can't force it, just because you got a kid. And I tried, but it wasn't there, and so I gave up boxing, fighting, everything. And then just in the last few years, I had opportunities. People were like, man, you need to get back in there. I started doing mixed martial arts, and I got an opportunity to take a big cage fight, and I did that 3 years ago. The last fight, there was probably a couple thousand people there.
Any footage of this anywhere?
One of them's there on YouTube.
What's it called?
Just got to look up my opponents, Josh Page, Kenny Williams, or Kenny Williams, Cameron Poole. You'll see them.
So yeah, go look that up. If I can't find them, if I can find them, they'll be linked in the description.
But dude, I had that fight won, man. I slipped and messed up, and I went right to my back, and he choked me out. The dude's strong as an ox.
Oh my gosh.
He was like 10 years younger than me, really, really strong. So I knew once he got me to rear naked choke, he's gonna pop my head off. So I did tap out on that one. But after that fight was over, I wanted to fight him again, but he said no. And like I said,
why did he say no?
I don't know. But he didn't want to do it again. And him and I are friends now. That's
awesome.
We talk every once in a while, and he's even told me a couple years ago he wanted to slow down his drinking, and he told me some of his problems and stuff. And after I found God, it's just neat how the people want to talk to God about me with me.
Yeah, and it's because we're in a little bit more rougher crowd, obviously. With that, I can't imagine MMA is very.
It's pretty toxic.
I was gonna say
a lot of alcohol and drugs and at the fights and stuff and after parties and all that stuff, But my wife, we'd get our own, suite, and when the fight was over, we had our own room and stuff.
Yeah.
You can govern what goes on in that, but
it's
there's just after the fights are over, there's just drunken fights everywhere. I mean, it's ridiculous, and just getting out of that whole scene it's really good for us. So
that's awesome.
Plus, I had my whole nose reconstructive surgery done last year.
Goodness,
I've had my nose broke so many times. I finally got it done last February. This is all fake.
Really?
That's all pins and stuff. They rebuild it.
Oh wow.
Ooh. So were you not able to breathe through it properly?
Yeah. My deviated septum was plugged 80%.
Oh jeez.
I had so much cartilage in there they had to dig out and cut out, and
oh my gosh.
It was just.
I wish I had a story like that for my deviated septum. It's just normal.
Oh no.
I wish I could say I gotten my nose broken or something.
No, I've had it broke for quite a few times.
Quite a few times. So what's one of the fights that sticks in your mind the most?
It was probably when I was kickboxing up in Michigan. I'd already fought in a tournament, and I got second place because it was one of the decisions. The tournament was over, and there's hundreds of people just drinking and having a good time, and there's always that person drunk calling people out, and they're setting up side bets on another fight, and the ring, everything's empty, and next thing you know, this guy's like, hey man, I got $500, says Williams can take this dude, and this dude from Napoleon was really wasted and calling me every name in the book and just antagonizing me. I'm like, all right, let's do it. He's bigger than me. But he was bigger than me. I didn't care.
Sam, real quick. Have you ever looked at someone and gone, that guy's bigger than me. I can take him.
I've never been in a fight.
Exactly. Neither have I.
So I have a really bad metric for that.
This one was actually recorded, but I can't find the footage. It was a long time ago.
Oh, shoot. Anyways, he's
great.
bigger than you.
It was great. He come at me. He charged straight to me as soon as they dinged it. He came charging my side.
And that's not what you do?
Yeah. Well, you can. I do it sometimes. But you got to know what you're going to do. You got to know your next 2 steps.
But he was so wasted, he didn't know what he was going to do.
He knew how to fight. He's a good fighter, but he just wanted me so bad. And he came at me and he threw I could see it coming the way he was planting his lead foot. He gave it everything he had in his right. And I just ducked it, and I ducked it to the left, and I just came through with a right straight, and I knocked him out and knocked his bottom teeth out. He was out They had to bring in the ambulance and everything. That was probably my favorite fight of all time.
So it was a one punch.
Oh yeah.
How many one punch knockouts have you gotten?
I don't know, 20.
Jeez.
That's including bar fights though. I don't know.
Now, is it true it hurts up into your shoulder?
No.
It's not. I guess since
it's all knuckles. That's why those are all broken. You can see how messed up they are.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're a little messed up. I guess because I heard somebody, it was a guy who doesn't fight, was in a bar fight, and he punched somebody, and he said he one punch knocked him out, and he said he felt up in his shoulder.
I've never had that.
Would that be bad form though?
Like, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, probably.
See, you can break your thumb if you put your thumb on the inside. You'll break your thumb.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in my rough days in alcohol and not with God and stuff, I mean, I fought all the time, every weekend probably, and I never went I didn't even smoke all the time, but I carried a lighter with me because you got to pack your fist. You take a lighter and put it right here, roll it up tight, and then you don't break your knuckles.
Interesting. So
I'll
remember that for when I never fight.
I mean, that's just what I always did. And that's funny because I find my old jackets and coats I wore when I was an alcoholic. Every pocket, I got a lighter in it. I'm like, one time we were getting this really big fight at the college campus, and my brother-in-law threw me a chapstick. I'm like, dude, I need something to pack my fist. We're going to know something's going to go down right now. I didn't have a lighter. He gave me a chapstick, and it worked.
So you say college campus. Is this...
Toledo.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is it down, Northwest State?
No. No, it was at a big frat party, and it was in Toledo.
There's totally frat parties every weekend at Northwest State. Let me tell you, it's just wild.
Yeah, definitely wasn't Northwest State. It's actually
bunch of farmer boys.
You can pack your fists with corn, like just corn cobs.
Yeah, that you ain't gonna get. You might as well just hit him with the corn cob. No, that was at a party. I got to go up there and take care of a situation, and
oh boy,
it didn't turn out too good. I did what I needed to do, but then everybody came in. Somebody had a gun. People were throwing beer bottles at us. I was with both my brother-in-laws, and we ran, and we got out of that front door, and they were just throwing beer bottles at us all over. And somebody's like, dude, somebody's got a gun. And I'm like, I don't fight bullets. No, I'm not Johnny Cage or whatever his name is, or Cage.
You can't.
Or Superman.
You can't punch a bullet. Yeah, it doesn't work very well.
I mean, you can't.
No, so we got out of that situation.
All right. So that was
Stop that.
The one punch was one of your most memorable fights.
Yeah. I guess. I've even gained some of my best friends stitches when we used to do the underground fight club at my mom and dad's. Like one of my best friends. We've fallen out of I've been out of high school almost 20 years, but back then you never saw me if I wasn't with Brandon Ellie, Nathan Carlin, and Josh Fowler, and we all box and stuff, and then we make brackets, and then. Sometimes we'd have to fight each other. Normally we wouldn't fight guys from other schools, but we did a bracket that weekend, and Brandon had to fight me, and he gave everything he had. I sidestepped him, right hooked him, knocked him out, split his whole lip down to his cheek, and everything laid out. That's actually the reason my dad stopped recording our fights and said, I'm done. Wow. I want nothing to do with this anymore.
Ooh. Split his cheek.
Yeah, because I hit him on the left side.
Because that is how you knock out people. It's dislocating the jaw, isn't it?
Mainly, yeah. Or you go to the brachial plexus right here. I've knocked people out just by punching them in the side of the throat. When I was in law enforcement, I learned a lot of self-defense, and then in MMA, grappling, everything. You learn all kinds of stuff. But in law enforcement, the brachial plexus tie-in, you can literally take the back of your hand and hit someone really hard right there, and it'll stun them, knock them out for like 30 seconds.
Oh wow,
that's like that just. Because I'm not a fighter and I'm more of a nerd. I'm like, oh, that's the Spock thing. Spock from Star Trek has like a hold. It's that he just takes his hand and just like, pinches. Shut up, James.
It could be. That could be the spot where they grab. I don't know.
I've never even watched Star Trek, and I know that somehow.
Yeah, you're a nerd.
I watch Big.
I know what you're talking about too.
I watch Big Bang Theory, and they talk about Spock a lot.
Well, yeah,
and that's all I know. That whatever, live long and prosper. About it.
I want to ask more questions about MMA, but I don't know much.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. So what all do you know? Like martial arts wise?
I mean, my
Grappling.
background was grappling. I mean, I wrestled in high school. I mean, I was really good at like defense. I mean, I wasn't like the best at takedowns, but I could counter about anything anybody threw at me. In my senior year, I think I only got pinned like a few times.
Yeah.
I was actually seated to go to districts and broke my collarbone at practice. But going in between districts and state, I actually went to districts. I think I was an alternate. I was 5th place. I got to go, but then we were at practice in between, and I broke my collarbone. A Napoleon coach jumped in on round robins on us, and he pinned my arm down and threw me and broke my collarbone in 2 places.
Gosh. I'd be so
my
mad.
senior year too. I mean, I was just so irritated.
Now let me ask about the discipline aspect. Would you starve and dehydrate yourself?
Oh yeah, I did it all the time.
Because I worked with a guy, Walt.
I had to spit my spit in a Gatorade bottle all day at school. Couldn't eat, couldn't drink until I weighed in. Then I would eat, then get sick.
And that's what the guy who taught me plumbing did. He was a wrestler, and he would
just to get into a lower bracket.
Back in the 90s, late 90s, and you could still wear, the sweatsuits and they'll take the water pills and they don't let you do any of that now. I heard that. Our coach would tell us go home and sleep in a trash bag and layer up. If you had to cut more than 5 pounds, he said he'll tell you your butt better be here tomorrow on weight.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was
crazy.
captain of my team, so I would try to fluctuate. I would jump up weight classes if I could fit my other guys into where I was, or I'd cut weight to get them where I felt more disciplined than someone else. I'd cut weight and let them take my spot. And you can go up a weight class and down a weight class, and I was at 152, so I could go 145 or 161.
Oh wow!
So when I went to 161, I was way underweight, so I could eat whatever I wanted. That was nice. But you're also talking about the guys that are in peak physical shape between 145 and like 191. Those guys were just usually really good right at their weight classes. And heavyweight, there's a lot of fluctuation in heavyweight, like 220 to like 300 or something.
Oh my goodness!
So you'd have some big guys, But yeah, I mean, it just started with that, and then started boxing at home, and just the little training I had, and just went with it,
Now with boxing is a whole other thing than MMA.
Absolutely,
correct?
yeah.
Because what is boxing mostly protecting what is boxing? I guess
boxing is
in essence.
So you're a stand-up fighter. If you're somebody's saying that your type of fighting, he's a boxer, he's a stand-up fighter, he's a grappler, he's a ground fighter. I could go to the ground. I knew submissions too, but I was a stand-up fighter. I was known as a boxer or a bar fighter. That's mainly what I would do. And I hated. I mean, there's times I'd let them get up because I don't like going to the ground. So
yeah,
I have a really good right hook, and that's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
My jabs are just to feel them out where they're at, and then boxing is if you're throwing this one's blocking. Never have both your hands down. You're throwing your left, your right's all the way up. You're up already, and you're watching. You're either gonna grab. If you're MMA, you have your hands up, so you can grab what they come at you, and then do something with it. But you always got your guard up. Right hands out, left one's blocking.
Because I guess your face is the most important spot, but I guess kidney shots
your
are
ribs and your stomach,
ribs.
anything above that belt, they're gonna go for.
And obviously below the belt.
In
is
MMA,
forbidden.
you can do anything. You can kick
Really?
a knee. You can bust a knee, hyperextend a kneecap out. You can kick them in the face. Yeah, they can come right out and kick you a knee in the face if you want. So.
Oh my.
MMA,
goodness.
you gotta look for everything. That's what I'm saying. When that fight, you guys are you saw that.
Yeah,
YouTube.
we're definitely gonna watch it. In the link in the description.
These guys, that dude he was a beast, man. He's just super strong. I think he's a professional trainer, like a physical fitness trainer. His name's Cameron Poole. He's a very strong dude, and I knew right away I slipped, and I wanted it all. I wanted the knockout. I wanted to take his head off his shoulders, and I reached back for this huge right, and I had him on the ground, and my left foot slipped out, and I literally my back smacked him in the chest, and he just got me in a rear naked choke, and I could hear him grunting like he's gonna pop my head off, man. I was like, I'm done. I tapped out.
I don't. He died, Dave.
No, my wife and kids were watching, and one of my sons was crying. And there was probably
Someone's beating up Daddy.
That place was sold out, and there wasn't even standing room in that
Wow.
arena. I mean, there's thousands of people, and I'm not gonna get knocked, tapped out here, or I'm not gonna get choked out here. I tapped and said, dude, you got me. But that's what I said. I'm a stand up fighter, and that went to the ground, and then I lost.
Yep, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
So would you recommend other people do MMA?
You gotta really want to. You gotta
It's like
you gotta
plumbing.
borderline.
You really gotta want to.
You gotta borderline
Yeah.
like violence, and not the violence where I want to go, to shooting people, but I mean it was like an adrenaline rush. I was adrenaline drug junkie. Rode crotch rockets when I was younger. My brother and I have been skydiving. I mean, it's adrenaline, dude. Getting in a cage. Not too many people can say they've been in a cage and they close that door behind you, and it's just you and one other guy, and then everybody's paying money to watch you fight. It's an adrenaline rush. It really is. Yep. It's amazing, and you're so focused on what you're doing, you don't even realize people are watching.
That's crazy.
That does take a special breed, because I could learn like a self-defense and like the more, in my mind, like, oh, that'd be practical for everyday life, but I think I'd have an adrenaline rush, but it'd be to get out the door if I was in that situation.
Oh man,
where your brain goes fight, his brain goes flight.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let me phrase that. Where your brain goes fight, Sam and I's mind goes, all right, we need to leave now. You are not the strongest person in the room.
Yeah.
I found out I really, really was not strong. We actually do have video of this somewhere. My wife's cousin's fiance is an Army sergeant.
Okay.
And he's about 5'7".
Short guy, though.
He's not super tall. I'm sorry if I misquoted your height, Alex. I don't know height. He's not super tall. He's about, I don't know.
What is he to you? Like shoulder width?
Yeah, he's about shoulder.
5'7", probably.
He's a little tall. Anyways. We were hanging out. It was 3 a.m. Maybe a few drinks were had. And we were wrestling in my not obsessive drinks, just a few. Like not just enough to loosen
we're gonna do this.
Yeah, enough where it gets fun, apparently.
So we were well, actually the drinks were a couple hours behind. I was basically sober. Anywho, so I was wrestling an Army sergeant, and Silas and I were taking turns wrestling him. And it was really funny. Because he would just lay there on the ground, face on the ground, and flap his arms and go, "Come get you some. Come get you some." And so we would try to pin him. And at one point, he had Silas pinned between his thighs. Silas could not move. And he was dragging Silas behind him, grabbing me and pulling me to the ground. And that was the time I went, wow, I'm not strong in any way, shape, or form. I would try to get out of anything. But the problem is he's in the Army, so he's taught to kill people. So he was like, this is how I could kill you right now. This is how I could break your arm. This is how I could snap all it. While he's doing all the, and I'm just like, wow, I feel very, very weak right now and emasculated.
I had a pastor when I was a kid in youth group. He was older, and I think he served somewhere bad. I don't know if it was Nam or Korea or something like that, but he fought in the jungle, and he would tell stories to us kids that were, family friendly. But what he would do from time to time is, and he was old, like he was 60, 70. I could be wrong. Hopefully he's not listening to this. But he would take a ruler and he'd say, okay, this is my knife. And he'd give the kids like a marker or something, like, this is your gun. And I'm going to put this ruler in my pants. And it's going to be like it's holstered, and you're going to have this, and in your pocket, you're going to draw it, and you're going to say bang. And when you say bang, I'm dead. But I'm going to kill you before you can draw.
Right, super fast.
And he would be at your neck with it, like digging into your collarbone. Not hard, because it's not going to hurt you,
just to imply the point.
Yeah, and it would be like that. You'd be reaching for it, and he'd be like, ding. And
a knife is faster than a gun
in close quarters.
Within, I think, 30 feet.
That's terrifying.
Maybe if it's a throwing knife in the right hands, probably.
Well, I'm in a concealed carry class. They were talking about it's about, maybe it's not 30 feet.
I think it's like maybe
10
15.
10 feet.
10 or 15.
But they're like, if someone has a knife and they're 15 feet away, can you draw your gun and shoot them before they get to you?
Especially if they're moving towards you already.
And we simulated this, and it was very jarring, because it was an older guy. He was probably 50s, and he would be the knife man.
No, we've had that training in law enforcement. Yeah. Not only you got to draw your gun, but you want to get out of their fatal funnel. So when you're starting to shoot them, you're doing. I don't know why
I'm telling you this. I'm telling Tim this then.
Oh,
I'm listening.
Yeah, you're doing holster shooting, and then you're moving out of the direction, because you're going to be stunning them. So if they're coming at you with a knife, you're gonna lay a couple in center mass, and they're gonna run right by you. Don't ever stand in the same spot and shoot. You got to move while you're shooting, because they're gonna.
And you always turn your gun sideways, right?
You draw and then you
no,
go.
you draw and do when you're
Yep.
you know, the holster.
So I guess we can go. That's a great segue.
To law enforcement.
Yeah.
So how was, I don't know, what made you want to be in law enforcement? You said you wanted to go in Marines, and so you wanted to.
Well, when I was a teenager, I mean, I
do with my hands.
I literally had a poster on my wall. You remember, you're in school, they give you the wrap your books with. There was a Marine and there was a state patrolman, and my grandfather was a United States Marshal, and he was actually a local guy here. My mom's real dad. His name was Ralph Rupert, and he was a marshal, and it was awesome. I seen it, his shoulder patch and his badge and stuff my grandma had, and I always wanted to be a cop. I knew it from I was a young age, and I wanted to be a police officer. And the coolest ones were I always seen the troopers, man. They looked awesome with the hats, and they always looked like they were ready to go. And
Yep.
And then I seen military pictures. My dad was in the Army, and I wanted to be a Marine, because I always want to one-up your dad,
Yep.
And then back to that story, I was actually the weekend I was going to go to MEPS for my swearing in and stuff, and found out my oldest son was on the way, and my dad made me do what I had to do, and so I did that, and I stayed back and applied to college and went to the police academy and got out of the police academy and started working for police. Actually, I worked here for 6 months or so, and I got an opportunity to go to the sheriff's department. I was riding with the sheriff's department for a while. Actually, I rode with the deputy that just passed. Until I got an offer for a full-time position at the police department. That was like in 2004, 5 or 5 maybe. And I worked there for about a year and a half. And then a sergeant position's opened up, and I got a sergeant position there. I was a stand-in sergeant for a while.
That's awesome.
And then from there, I was already applying to other. I mean, I was actually looking into going into Arizona because they were looking for border patrol. And actually, I remember doing an all over the phone interview with Bullhead City, Arizona, for a police department. And like I said, God he knows what your final resting place is going to be or where he wants you to be, and that wasn't it. I mean, they even offered me a job, but it just wasn't enough to uproot and go all the way to Arizona. And at the same time, I was applying to do 2 different SWAT teams, or I wanted to work for the man unit. That's what I always wanted to do. But I got
real quick. I know there's a huge difference. What am I trying to say here? Why is this SWAT called in?
SWAT's called in when it's over to something that normal police officers can't handle, or there's too much risk involved, or they don't have the right equipment or something like that. But SWAT will handle it. It's Special Weapons and Tactics.
Okay.
That's what SWAT stands for. But the unit I actually got on was over in...
so you got into SWAT?
It wasn't SWAT, but I got into the Felony Warrant Entry Team, which is just Felony Warrant Entry Team. Okay. Where those are the guys they call in. It's a 4-man team, and you're sitting on meth labs at night. You turn in everything you got to the prosecutor, and they make a case, and then you can go break doors down and arrest people.
The reason I'm laughing is because when you said a 4-man unit, I did a nerd thing and was thought of
Republic Commando.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars thing.
Anyways, no, it was pretty neat, and that's awesome. What I did for the last about a year of law enforcement. And it just 2008, Carney Finkbinder got voted out by Mike Bell, and there's 2008 everything crashed. They cut like 300 police units, lost a lot of funding, and we lost everything.
Wow.
And then from there, I didn't really want to go back to doing little tiny, police stuff. And at that time, my marriage fell apart, and I got a divorce, and that's when I really started.
How long were you married?
The first time was, 3-4 years maybe. Okay. And then, like I said, I got a divorce.
That's not good for you and I, Sam. Anyways.
Well, I got a divorce. I've been with my current wife for 10 years. I mean,
that's awesome, dude.
Like I said, this one is just, my Haley is just, I got to choose this one.
Let me preface this.
That's a fair point.
I went and got a haircut. And Kenny recently, when did you hurt your foot? January?
End of May.
Why did I think it was January? Anyways, hurt his foot playing basketball.
Yeah.
Messed it up real bad. This is the caliber of his wife. I went and got a haircut. I leave. She's mowing the lawn.
Yeah. She's a trooper, man.
That's awesome.
She's been mowing. That first month.
I haven't had to mow a lawn in 3 years. It's great.
That first month and a half, I couldn't really do anything. She did everything. I mean, she's awesome.
And that's awesome, man.
But yeah, back to that. I just didn't want to be a police officer anymore. I said, this is stupid. Too much politics involved. I said, I just want to I started drinking a lot, started going into the bars. I was recently single, so I was hanging out with the wrong group of guys. Started getting
the guys who hate their wives or hate women in general.
No, they don't hate women. they just don't have good morals, you know, and they
Yeah.
just want to go out drinking every weekend looking for trouble. And then I started riding motorcycles with a bunch of really bad people. And they're great guys, but we just did bad things, you know. And like just
Sam and I really do know.
I mean, that's just what happens, you know. And you just start running with the wrong group of guys, and it was a dark 2 years of my life. And then my wife's brother Tyler was like my best friend, and like we did everything together. We got tattoos together. We hung out every weekend. When I wasn't home, he could use my apartment, and he would go there and sleep there when I'm working nights or something. And that's how I met Haley. Actually, she was in college, and she was in a bad situation, in which I mentioned a little bit.
Yeah.
We had to go up there and take care of some problems, and so she got out of that situation and came back home, and she started looking me up. And her and I,
Kenny Williams guy's kind of cute.
yeah, that's what she said. She's like, I never thought we were getting married or anything. You know, she's like, I just wanted to kiss you. She's like, you were hot. That's it. And then I was like, I'm thinking, how I got this gorgeous younger girl like into me. I'm like, I don't want to lose.
I gotta capitalize on this
For
situation.
real, I didn't want to lose it, man. And she's like, she strung me in. She got me like hooks and sinker. She's like
all women
this
do.
this wild boy, and she let me do with my own stuff, like until I fell in love. And then she's just like,
Gotcha.
yeah. And then for real, with
She waited till the hook was in your cheek.
for real, I told her I loved her first, and I was like,
no.
she didn't say it back for like 3 months.
Oh, she's good. She
real.
is so good.
She fought it for a long time, and then
Wait, 3 months?
yeah, I bet I told her I loved her within 3 months, and then she didn't say it for like another 3 months. She's like,
my
she's like,
goodness.
I guess I do love you.
I guess I love you.
I almost was like, you got to be kidding me.
When my dad proposed to my mom, she said, "Let me think about it."
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
You know my mom at all?
Yeah.
That should explain a lot.
It does. It really does.
But she said, "Let me think about
She was
it."
joking though. No,
I don't know.
I don't know.
You got to know Ruth Font.
But anyway, right after that was, she came around looking for me, and I did a bad thing because she was like texting me, and she's like, "Hey, is this Kenny?" She got my number from somebody. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm sitting at the bar with her brother next to me. I'm thinking instantly, I didn't think anything. Like I thought she wanted her brother. I'm like, I was just getting ready to hand him the phone, and then I was reading it. She's like, "Don't tell Tyler I'm texting you." I'm like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing." And then
Nothing.
she said, I'm home. I want to see you. Ditch my brother. And
That's always.
And he's
like a meme template.
he was a ladies' man anyway. He's like, "See ya, dude. I'll just go home with some chick here or something, you know."
Like you're a terrible wingman anyway.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he was a ladies' man. He was good with the girls, and so I'm like, "Hey man, I'm gonna take off." He's like, "All right, bro. I'll see you tomorrow." And I went and met her, and we hung out that night, and it was nothing like intimate or nothing. We just literally hung out, and we did kiss, I think. And I was just like, "Geez, man, she's taking me back to grade school here," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm really into her already." I'm like, "What the heck's going on?" Within like a couple weeks, I was like, I just wanted to see her all the time, and like I said, I messed up. I told her I loved her way too soon, and but
Apparently it worked.
we've been together almost 10 years.
That's
so,
awesome, dude.
Yeah, and it's amazing. She's my best friend. It's like there's days I can't even wait to where she gets home and I'm sleeping, or I'm working nights and I'm going to bed, and I know she's gonna wake me up when she gets home and just crawl into bed and cuddle or something, and it's really cool. We have so much in common. We play cornhole together. We played volleyball together. I mean, when we did drink, we drank together, and then that was getting into issues, and then she's the reason I found God and got sober. I mean, I owe her everything. I mean, I owe it to God, but
who was the Christian first?
She was.
Okay.
I mean, I was a Christian a long time ago, but I pretty much renounced God when I was getting my butt kicked all the time because I was a Christian, and I gave him up literally for a long, long time. And I've tried it here and there. Just like I said, I was an alcoholic for 17 years, and I wanted to quit drinking. I mean, I tried probably 10 times, and it just didn't work.
It's an addiction.
I legitimately wanted to quit. I did not want this anymore. I didn't want to get sick and fight with my wife and yell at my kids, and I hated it, and losing all that money I was spending on alcohol, and it's just, I tried and tried, and my wife, she just finally had enough. When she actually left me, the reason I quit drinking is because I didn't even hit rock bottom. I have a great job at my house. I had my barber shop and everything it is now, but I didn't think I hit rock bottom, but I realized what's important to me. She left, and I didn't think she was coming back.
When the girl you said you love to first leaves you,
yeah, she knows she's got me.
That's rock bottom, and you go, oh.
Well, that's what it was.
I don't need anything else.
Legitimately, I thought, man, she isn't coming back, and right then, first thing that popped in my mind was Pastor Chris Pierce, and
he's actually going to be on the podcast sometime.
He wasn't even a friend of me at the time. We knew each other. I've cut his hair. But it was just like I put on that face for him. He had no idea about my personal life. And when I called him that night, I got his number from Jack Olben or somebody, and he was shocked. And he's like, Kenny, what's going on? I was like crying. I'm like, dude, I need you. I'm in a dark place. And he's like, he literally said first thing, he's like, I'm actually cooking right now with my girl for the family. And he goes, you know what? I'll be right there. And he's like, his wife said he left so fast, he left his flip-flops by the grill. And he was here in like 10 minutes. He stayed all night. I bet it was like 5 in the afternoon. He didn't leave till like midnight. And we drank coffee. And before he left, he did everything perfect. And whatever he did, he hugged me, we prayed, we cried, we watched a bunch of YouTube videos on I Am Second, videos on alcoholism and stuff. And then we started reading the Bible. And before he left, I dumped out every drop of alcohol in my whole house. And to this day, I've never turned back. So like I said,
awesome,
he was like my hero that day. And it's all because, she left me. She couldn't handle it no more because it was right in the middle of all my training. And I was already signed to take another fight at the time. So I was training all week, working my butt off, and I wouldn't drink during the week. So I guess that's where I get lost in translation of being an alcoholic. Because I could go 4 or 5 days without even drinking a drop. And then, but the weekends would get here and I'd get retarded drunk, like blitzed, like passing out downstairs.
You don't remember anything for the weekend.
Yeah, and that's what I would do every weekend. That's when she finally left because on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, I didn't even make it upstairs. I was so drunk, laying on the floor down there. But I just think, I work hard to provide for my family. I'm thinking, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not going to a bar. Right. Yeah, I'm not going to a bar. I don't beat my wife and kids. I've never hit them. I just drink. I'm drinking at home. I don't leave my house. I don't drive around drunk. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I was always in denial. It's you. It's your problem.
I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink all the time.
That's what I said. But I really was an alcoholic because I couldn't go a weekend without drinking. And I feel like I was dying. And I did it. Because of God. The Holy Spirit touched me that night, and I just knew it was just something's different. And it's going on 3 years now. I haven't had a drop.
Awesome, man.
So that's where I'm at today. I mean. And I don't think I'm going to fight anymore. I don't need to prove nothing to no one, and I've done it. So
he has a tattoo on his knee, at least one.
Yeah,
because I think Silas told me about that.
That's at least one more than I have.
Yeah, I got a few.
Not tattoo, but people that I've knocked out with my knee.
Got it.
Yeah, I think in most fights
you have a giant eagle on your back tattoo, right?
No, I don't have a single tattoo, but I think when I would get beat up, I would probably just curl into the fetal position.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's why I got the broken ribs in 5th grade. In the locker room, no joke, man. There was 3 of them attacking me. I curled up into a ball, and they like busted my ribs up, and my ribs were bruised. My mom and dad went to the people's houses and ate at night, and then I got beat up again the next day. It was bad. It was real. I mean, it's stuff you see on movies. I'm not even joking. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And it's funny because over the years, when I got almost every bully back, worse than they got me. It might have took me 5-10 years, but I got almost every one of them. Wow. And if I didn't get them back, they legitimately, they knew what I was doing. They knew I had a list, and they'd come right to me, and they had a couple. The one that was really on my list was that one that did it to my ribs. Look, we might have just been out of high school, but I'd gotten a lot of people back already, and he knew I was coming for him. And he came to me and
find them and beat the crap out of them?
I'd wait for the right moment in time, and I'd get them. But
it's like a movie. Your
life
life
is
is a movie.
He came to me at the YMCA, and he found me and shook my hand. He said he was so sorry for the stuff we did when he was a kid. And he literally said, "Don't beat my ass." I'm like, all right.
Please don't kill me, sir.
That's what he said. And
wow.
So I took him off the list.
And
he apologized, and he did it in front of people that needed to hear it. And
that's good. So if you're bullying anybody, say you're sorry, because sometimes they get bigger than you and scarier than you.
Not that that's a good reason to stop. I mean, stopping bullying is
bullying,
just...
No, that's the only reason to stop bullying.
No, I got 4 boys, and I tell them all the time, if I ever find out you guys are bullying anybody, you're going to get it worse from me at home. Because I try to tell them, what I went through, and it still messes with me today. And I see it, I step in. Even if I'm in the public and I see somebody manhandling their woman or beating, smacking a kid or dragging a kid, you better hope I don't see it, because you're going to be getting on the ground next.
And see, there was a video talking about why Joe Rogan. Have you ever listened to Joe Rogan?
Yep.
There was a video about why Joe Rogan is so good at
announcing
people.
He's a UFC announcer too.
Yeah. But why he's so good at talking to people. And one of the things was, since he's like you, or you're like him, one of you likes the other.
He's older than me. I'm 37. I think he's like 45.
So you're like him.
Yep.
In the fact of you can handle situations. So, like,
adapting to situations.
I don't know about the video. I forget. It was Charisma on Command, but it was talking about why he can relate to so many people and why he's so good with confrontation is because he can actually do something about the confrontation.
Right.
And I think he almost or did knock someone out because he was an not announcer. What am I saying here?
X Factor.
X Factor.
Yeah, or was
Not
it?
X
No,
Factor.
Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Fear Factor.
He was the Fear Factor guy, and somebody started getting lippy, and he was like, "No, this isn't gonna happen," because he knows more about.
He was a mixed martial artist himself.
He knows. Yeah. He knows all sorts of stuff, and he's in stupid good shape.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's
like just a head on top of shoulders.
Yeah, I know.
But like he's a comedian. He runs
Dana White though too, man.
What's that?
Dana White's the same way, the UFC president.
Oh, good Lord.
He's a beast.
But he's like he's a stand-up comedian. He can
tear you apart with words. He can tear you apart in real life.
He's got a huge podcast.
I knew he was a comedian. I thought that. Yeah. I was going to say that, but like, it doesn't sound right.
You should definitely go watch his new Netflix special.
Comedian.
He's got the comedian thing. He's got the podcast where he interviews like crazy famous people.
He interviewed Bernie Sanders,
Elon Musk,
Neil
deGrasse Tyson. Those were the more interesting ones to me. But then he does the MMA, and it's like.
And the other cool thing about his podcast is he interviewed Bernie Sanders, which is super far left, and then he interviewed Steven Crowder, which is super far right.
He does. So he does go down the middle.
He's definitely right in the middle. Anyways, sorry.
And sometimes he talks about conspiracies, and that's my favorite time because he gets Eddie Bravo on, who's also an MMA fighter, and Eddie Bravo is like
flat Earth.
Gone.
He went down the YouTube rabbit hole. And then found another rabbit
all of it.
And then found another rabbit hole.
He went to the black web YouTube.
Oh man,
my gosh.
He's wild, but it's entertaining because he's like, oh, Joe Rogan, you got to look into it.
Jeez.
But anyways, going back to what he was saying, it's cool that you can see situations and you physically can fix it.
Yeah.
Or change it.
And I've done it to complete strangers at the mall. Yeah. I remember a dude he had his girl grabbed her by the underarm and he was like, getting in her face and he was cussing at her. And I could tell he's been drinking. And I first walked by and I was like, I don't think it is what I think it is. And sure enough, then he took the other hand and grabbed her by the back of her neck and was like walking her out. And I went right behind him and manhandled him like a little kid. I did, man. It was awesome.
You're just like, okay, come here.
My kids were with me. I said, you ever touch a woman like that ever again? He was like, yo, I'll take you to an inch of your life. And I said, you should be, and she had a kid with her. I think she was even holding a baby.
What in the world?
I don't remember. I think she was holding a kid, man. I said, dude, and she has a baby in her arms. What's wrong with you? You're lucky you're not going to jail right now. And he's all like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. I love you. And they probably got home. He beat her up, but at least he didn't do it right then.
Yeah, that's
there's so many women that are stuck in relationships like that, you know?
Because, it's scary.
A couple men, too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. I've gotten hit by some girls about knocked me out once. She's a big girl. She was a full ride scholarship into Toledo basketball, or maybe Owens. It was at one of those parties I went to. She right hooked me twice. It almost knocked me out.
I have gotten the most beat up by my wife, to be fair.
I mean, I guess. Right hook twice.
Well, she did it once, and I don't hit women. I don't hit women. It knocked me down. And I said, "You touch me again, I swear." Boom! She hit me again before I could even get my. I was like, I told her, I said, "This is your warning. You touch me again." She was huge, just like 3-4 inches taller than me, and I didn't think she's gonna actually hit me again. And there was a lot of witnesses, a lot of people from Stryker were at that party, and my wife was there, and I said, "You touch me again." I said, "Your warning." And I was looking down, so she ripped my necklace, and boom, she smoked me in the side of the face and almost knocked me out.
Oh, man.
I got up like this, and I was already cocked. I was going to get her, and then 3 guys tackled me. And then they took her, and like a bunch of girls, like 5 of them, had to tackle Shrek and take her away.
No, it'd be Fiona.
Dude, Fiona. Yeah, she was Fiona. She was more Shrek, though. Like, dude, I couldn't imagine being married to that. She owned her boyfriend.
You would not get lippy with her.
I've gotten hit by. She hit me harder than some dudes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the one? There was a comedian that once did a bit about how
Bill Burr.
Yeah, where it was like there's crazy ex-girlfriends. The guys all have crazy ex-girlfriends. I mean, I don't know who it was, but like,
I don't know.
There's always a crazy ex-girlfriend story. You know, you're like, oh yeah, that one girl, she was crazy.
Yeah,
there's no crazy ex-boyfriend story because they're all dead. all the girls are dead from the crazy ex-boyfriend.
Right? I've heard weird stories. Like, I never personally had it, but I've heard like, the key in the cars, or I've heard guys say that girls are breaking into their apartments or sabotage their Facebooks, or bad stuff,
Yeah.
When I took driver's
Don't
ed,
make girls angry.
when I took
They'll psychologically
Yeah.
break you down.
Yeah.
well, no, I took driver's ed. This was kind of like upsetting that the girl was okay with it. The girl was we were just chit-chatting between like coursework or whatever, and she was like, "Yeah, I don't have a phone right now. My boyfriend got mad at me and threw it in the garbage." And I'm just like, you would like they're in high school, like you would let him, like, what gives him the right to do that? And she's like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm like, yeah, dump him in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the sad thing. Like, there's people that are just like,
They think that's all they can get.
yeah.
When you break
Or
someone
they're
down,
scared to leave.
Yeah.
If you got a guy or a girl who's bigger than you and literally beats you up every evening or whatever,
Yeah.
you think you're gonna literally be killed. Or if you have a kid in a situation like that, you're trying to do it for your kid.
kids are-
Yeah, protect them.
very, very manipulative.
Yeah, they can be used for great manipulation.
Dude, I've seen some really nasty stuff when I was a cop, man. Going to some homes.
Oh
and
my goodness, I
the
can't
parents are
imagine.
both alcoholics and drug addicts, and there's 2 little kids in there.
Yeah,
I've had to call in child services many times.
and it's sad because
No food in the house, kids not
Yeah,
filthy, dirty.
I probably should call child services on a couple. I'm a plumber. On a couple things, on a couple houses I've been in where there are children.
but
Yeah.
those kids are gonna. A lot of them, they grow up in a house like that. It's all they know, and then they end up
Yeah.
on the streets and be the next generation of criminals. They can come out of it for sure, but there's.
Way to generalize, Sam. Gee whiz.
I mean, there's a good possibility.
I'm just saying, when you're in a situation like that, it is that much harder to get out of it. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that you're guaranteed to be a criminal the rest of your life. It's just
Right.
you're in that
Break
situation.
that cycle.
Yeah, you hope they break that cycle for sure, or they don't. They actually survive that cycle,
Yep.
make it out of it. But
So what else you guys got?
Well, we didn't quite finish up. Well, no.
after this,
You
we're
were
gonna
talking
arm
about-
wrestle him, both of us.
Both of
We get to use all 4 of our arms
All
against
4
one of
our
his.
arms. So I guess we covered.
Let's see. We got the MMA fighting. We got the law enforcement. Your life
You're gonna
story.
put a link on for my barbershop, so you don't need to really talk about that.
Yeah.
Testimony will be on there.
Yeah.
Talked a little bit about my youth and why I became a fighter, and just because I had to defend myself. God bless his heart, but my brother wasn't a fighter, and had an older brother. You would think he would protect me, but he never did. He had his own problems.
Yeah.
He just wanted to fit in, didn't want to make no waves, and he didn't know how to fight. So even when I got older, skinnier and tall, and he was strong as an ox in high school. He was a heavyweight wrestler, and he was on the low side of the scale, so he could eat. We hated him because on the bus he's eating Big Macs and donuts, and we're all like puking and we can't even eat. I'm like, Jerry, you're such a dick. And he's back there going, "Hey guys," as he's eating a Big Mac,
You're like, this food sure is
but
delicious.
when he got older, like in that age, he would, if somebody would have messed with me, but I was already defending myself at the time.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I actually defended him in Fort
That's
County. He was a
funny.
senior and I was a junior, and this dude was just messing with him. I got 3 days out of school, took a tray to his face. And then he was just picking on my brother, wouldn't stop. And finally somebody else had to tell me about it. I'm like, dude, your brother's got this guy just picking on him all the time. And I took 2 of them, Joe Kern and Reinhardt, my buddies, and we just wrecked him and this dude. And I said, I'll take 3 days for that. And
I'll take 3 days. It's fine.
Yeah.
and I did. But like I said, my brother he never really defended me, because he didn't know how to fight. And as we got older, he was an awesome wrestler, and he was super strong. I think he benched 300 pounds in high
Oh
school.
my gosh.
So he was like an ox. So if I knew I'd stayed out of his grip where he couldn't squeeze me till I crap myself, but we'd fight and stuff in the farm, and I'd just piece him up. I used to start punching him in the face, and then he'd try to take me down. I'd get behind him and try choking him out. He literally gave me this scar on my head, split my whole head open. My dad would let us like fight till we're bloody, and then he'd say, "All right, it's enough." And if we don't listen to him on command, the belt comes off. Not like these kids today, these buttercups that get babied. And my dad, he was a manly man. He didn't mess around. Like we'd listen to him. Like he just had that dad voice, and I respect him.
There was somebody Silas was telling us about how he has his children so well trained that he just does this and they gather.
Oh no way.
Yeah.
That ain't
He
me.
just is like,
Not me,
and
man.
all the kids go, oh!
Nah, my older boys, they listen to an extent, but they're all doing their own thing, and 3
No, I know, Dad.
they're
Were you-
teenagers,
Dad, I'm...
And my daughter, she owns me, so I might as well do her chores for
I see
her.
your pictures on Facebook and I go, yep. Daddy's wrapped around her finger.
Oh, I know. I love it because I've had all these boys for all these years, and now I got a girl. I can buy pink stuff, and I wear pink
Yeah.
shirts with her, and
Aw.
so I'm allowed to wear pink now. I mean, I did anyway. Who's gonna? I mean, you make fun of me, but
Who's going to make fun of
I
Kenny?
mean, do it, man. I don't even care anymore. I got a daughter. I'm allowed to.
Oh, my goodness.
But no.
So what are 3 things as a dad you should do and you should do, and then what are 3 things as a dad you wish you would have known? Tell younger Kenny
to put God first in their life, and then I want my kids to see Him through me, not what I say, my actions. And if I get in a verbal argument with my wife, I make sure I apologize to her in front of the kids where they've seen the fight, and then tell them, this is what I did wrong. And this is, if I get in trouble, or just try to always tell them, be careful with your surroundings and stuff, but just loving on the kids more, and more time face-to-face time than just watching a movie or TV.
Yeah.
I try to get them out and go golfing, or get off your Xboxes, guys. Let's go golfing. Let's go uptown and play basketball. Hence broken ankle. But my wife and I, we try to get them outside and do more things, more interactions with them. So we're not trying to buy their love, or here's a new Xbox, or here's a new game. Just get out of my way. Spend more time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys don't have kids yet, do you?
No, we don't have
no
kids.
Jeez, dude. My oldest will be 18 next year.
Wow.
Okay,
so I've been married 3 years. He's been married a year and a half.
Yep.
Okay, nice.
What would you tell us about marriage?
It's a give and take. You're gonna do stuff that you don't really like, but you're gonna have to do it, And then if you have a good wife that's submissive, like it says in the Bible, she's gonna do stuff that she ain't gonna like to do. But it's a partnership, You're not. No one's more important than the other person. And you guys already know. You guys are great guys. Put God first in your marriage, and love your wife as you love your church. And if you remember that and you respect each other, it's amazing. My marriage is, Haley and I, it's like, I don't even like being away from her right now. It's how much we're in love right now. It's crazy. Just sobriety and where I have God in my life. I was up where He's supposed to be. And it's just an amazing thing. Pastor Brian Hild in Port Clinton, he's one of the guys that helped us when when I was trying to get sober. I went up there and met with him a couple of times, and Truth Ministries in Port Clinton, he showed me a chart. It was a pyramid. It had Haley over here and me over here and God in the top. And the closer we get to God, the closer we get together. And eventually that pyramid's going to be so tight, we're all going to be right there, and it's so true, and I love it.
Yeah, and that is the only way a marriage will work.
It works without God, because obviously there's a lot of people that aren't Christians, and they make it work. But you don't know what they're going through, and it's just like that. And it's just so awesome when you have something, you give it to God. It's just, oh my gosh, it's like dumping it, getting it off. That's what I love about it. And like I said, I've been to the point where I've had to repent daily. Man, God, I'm sorry for my tongue slipping earlier. I'm sorry for losing my temper. And, there's times that God lost His temper, in the temple, and we wrecked the temple when they were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. But Old Testament is something that's crazy. That's a Old Testament. It's
that's God going, hey, so I'm black and white. If you don't follow me,
yeah. New Testament. That's what I more like to teach my kids, because in the Old Testament, I'm reading the Bible and I'm like, what? That guy had 6 wives? What? What do you? What?
Wait, we're allowed to have
it's
slaves?
a lot harder to.
He slept with his slave. He slept. Why has everybody got a slave? Why has everybody got?
You need
why is his daughter
degree
sleeping
to
with
be able
him?
to explain the Old Testament, but yeah. It's a can of worms. That's what I always say, because
it really is, man.
People make like a one-line argument out of it and be like, "Oh, well, why is this?" And it's all connected and interwoven.
Well,
and
the Bible, everybody that doesn't know God, they think Adam and Eve only had 2 children, but they had like 16 kids. If you read the Old Testament, they had tons of children after Cain and Abel. Obviously, Cain killed Abel, so Cain was still alive. But after that, once they got forbidden, they had like 12, 13 kids or something like that. Yeah. And everybody lived to like 400 years old for some reason. I don't even want to live that old. You imagine that body part just fell off.
and then God, well, like 300, you're like in your 20s.
Yeah, but Abraham was still having kids until he was 88 when he had.
Yeah.
So Methuselah, what was it, like 950?
Well, supposedly like Adam lived to be 100 or 900.
He was old, but he wasn't as old as Methuselah.
Yeah.
According to like what that, like the timeline, and that would just be miserable, because I feel like you wouldn't you just be like.
Well, they said age wasn't like it is. Yes. They said age wasn't like it is now.
Well, think about it. God made 2 perfect people.
Right.
And we are thousands of years.
There wasn't disease, there wasn't all that stuff,
of breeding, and now we're here. Have you seen a pug?
You take a wolf, and then you end up with a pug. So what you're saying is we're the pugs of humanity.
Yeah. We're pugs.
I mean, it's true though. Like, people are we have like such a crisscross. We're much more intermingled than we were before. It's not like, this colony of people and they're all
perfect people.
Right. And now it's just
extremely
like,
fallen world.
Now it's just the melting pot that you stir.
Right. It's just kind of neat,
This
you know.
is America.
Everybody that thinks everything about Christianity, like we're all from Adam and Eve, but really we're all descendants of Abraham. And then Abraham, obviously, his descendants got taken on the Noah's Ark because he washed the world clean. So I think it's pretty neat, man. I've watched the Bible series on Netflix with my children, and we try to do that once or twice a year. We started it again. We're like on the 5th session, and I try to get all 7 of my family. Like, hey guys, boom, we're doing the Bible tonight, and it's not. When I was a kid, my dad and mom would sit us down, we'd read the Bible, and we'd have prayer, and we'd all pray for each other. But this is something, we do the prayer, and I try to pray for my children and let them know I might have a lot of haircuts this week, and I might be working a lot at this, steel workers, or, I might have this going on, but I might be helping guys with God in my barbershop, or I have to leave and go help somebody. But I want you guys to know that you guys are the most important things in my life. There are people in this house, under this roof, you guys trump everything else, and I want you guys to know that. And if I start losing my direction and my focus or what I'm doing, I'm focusing more time on someone else and not my wife and putting the work into my family, call me out. And my wife has called me out numerous times. She's like, to the point where she keeps it inside because she knows I'm doing good. I'm doing God's work. And, I've had to leave my house and run and pick someone up because he's not feeling well. He wants to hurt himself, or he's drinking, or get me out of the situation. I've had to run to Arsenal and sit in a guy's house and pray with him because he wants to go out and do bad things. And she knows I'm doing good work. But then she also
makes it hard for her to rebuke you. But then
for
she's
real,
like, I'm not getting my needs met here.
Exactly. And that's she needs me. She wants me and God and her.
Yeah.
She's like, we need our God time. And she's like, baby, I'm so proud of you, from what you were 3 years ago into what you are now. It's just almost hard for me to even tell you that, you're doing too much, but I need you. We need to do our own Bible study. We need to do our own praise and worship at home. We watch YouTube videos, and we'll stand up in our bedroom with our door shut. And she's on one side of the bed, I'm on this side. We each pick a song. We do YouTube. We just praise God,
That's awesome, man.
And that's how we get centered. And like I said, I try to get my family down, when the boys are with us and we're all in the same house. And I don't even care if they have friends over. I'm like, hey, we're watching a Bible series tonight. 45 minutes. You guys do what you want after that. And then we're doing tacos or something,
It's a good family night. It's a good.
Because I was watching an interview, it was a Kirk Cameron interview or something, and it was
he's great.
Yeah, it was talking about
I love to cut his hair.
He does need a haircut.
No kidding, man.
But he was talking about how he found a seductress that was better than all the other, all drugs, all alcohol, all fame. He said, doing church work.
Yeah.
And he obviously set it up better than that. But it was interesting how he went. He's like same with a pastor is, you have all these people's needs that need met. Like Susie,
Dude, I
Susie
agree.
broke her legs and needs help. This guy is dealing with a drug addiction, needs your help. Can you please pray for this person or go to their house? And it starts pulling apart your family and your fabric of that, and it actually starts pulling you away from God,
Right.
Because you're doing God's work.
I agree.
That's why the concept of like church as a family is so crucial, because if it all falls on the pastor, the pastor's just one guy.
Yeah.
But if it's a community of people who are interconnected and like are unified in that love of God, and then it's like, oh, Susie fell and broke her leg or whatever, and Jim's truck broke down, whatever.
Generic. It seems like it gets generic almost.
But in that scenario, you couldn't make it, but then you can call somebody
Right.
up, someone else in that family, in that community. Hey, I can't do this, but can you go do this? And then it just works better when everyone is working together.
Yeah, that's why I love my barbershop, man. I'm gonna rebrand it, and it's gonna be big. I'm gonna literally make business cards, maybe shirts or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna rebrand
I'll buy a
it.
shirt.
I'm gonna rebrand it. I've already got the logo and stuff. I've been working on it for a while, and it's gonna be called Big Kenny's Barbershop Ministry. Because now I'm in between my 7th and 8th guy of help lead to the Lord, and when I know they're ready, I bring my dad in, and I bring Christians that I look up to. I've brought Pastor Chris in. Jack Oldman's been to my house. I mean, he was there helping me when I was going through my my stuff, and this is where, like I said, I'm still learning as I go too. When I feel like they're getting really close, my dad's like one of the best Christians I know, and I bring him in, and he's gung ho, and he's just like, sometimes like, Dad, pump the brakes. Like Dad pushes it a little too much.
You bring him in for the kill.
But dude, maybe my barbershop, just the money I make in there, man. I go to Amazon, I buy Bible cases and highlighters, and I still do I send Paul font every Sunday still. He's been doing it for years. He sends me Bible verses and daily devotions.
Sends it to me as well.
And I forward it to every guy that I'm helping and going through there. And I usually get, oh, dude, thanks, brother. I needed that. That's what I needed today. And it's just neat because the same scriptures that's feeding me, and I just I forward it to my guys, and it does the same thing to them. And then God knows who they're tending it to, because they could be working on some other people too. And it's just all because somebody that's sitting in my barber chair, And when I start feeling down and out, like I'm losing my drive, and I was like, oh man, I got to find it again. I got to get into the Word myself, and that's why I know I'm getting too much into the ways of the world. And because like I tell my wife, if I don't feel inspired, I can't inspire other people. And Pastor Mike Elkins said last Sunday, if you were there, it was amazing. I'm pretty sure he was probably talking about me. But
that's a good sermon when it's about
even
you.
my wife's like, he's talking about you. And I just cut his hair too. And he was talking. Were you at church last Sunday?
I wasn't. I skipped it.
Dude, it was awesome. He's like, well, I got a brother. He's kind of new to Christ in the last couple of years, but this guy's found, and he's finding other people. And you got to. And it's just a great point. You got to be found to find people. If you don't feel found, you can't find other people. And that's what God's doing. He's using me as his beacon. These people like, man, I seen where you were in dark places, and what he can do to you, I want that. And that's how everybody keeps coming to me. Like, dude, I've been cutting some of these guys' hair for 10, 15 years. And they're like, everybody's gone. They slowly, I can see them still sitting there out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, I got his hair an hour ago. What the heck is he still doing here? I'm like, okay, God, something's going to happen here. And I'm like, I don't beat anybody up about it. But you want to talk about God? You better pull up a chair. Because, he's done great things. And if I can, I want people to feel what I feel. And just that Holy Spirit and that fire, man, it's just nothing like it.
Sorry, James.
And I'm glad for you, man.
And I want to do it full time. God's going to open the door. I really feel, I don't even know why, but I think in like this next 6 months to a year, I'm going to quit the steel mill and I'm going to do God's work. It's not going to be, I know I'm going to lose a lot of money, but it's not about the money. That's why I want to get ahead on all my bills, where even if I do feel like I'm not making enough to cover everything, God will provide, because like I said, numerous people pay me way too much than a haircut. You're one of them.
No, I'm not. What are you talking about?
I mean, I got some other guys too that say, dude, I love the work you're doing in here. And then that God that blesses us. And my wife and I have never done, hand to God, I've never done anything stupid with it. Luckily, we don't drink, we don't smoke. We put it on our bills. And we're trying to get so far ahead on our mortgage and get everything we own paid off so we can take this plunge. And I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm going to buy my own building. We want to move out in the country, either between here and Archbold or here in Bryan, some within 5 miles, because I got way too many clients to leave to go anywhere else. And I'm pretty center located right now. But I want to get in a big enough house for my family to grow. Like, my kids are getting bigger, and then when they all get married and have kids and come home, and I want to have big enough property in the country where the dog can run. And I'm going to build the most pimp barber shop you've ever seen. I'm talking like
the little room you have it in now is pretty sick.
It's nice.
So just expand
it. Dude,
that
I'm going to build
10.
like my own building, climate control. I mean my own restroom, a cigar lounge in the corner where I can do Bible studies with my guys, and like, boom, Thursday nights we're going to smoke cigars and talk about Jesus. And then I'm going to, this corner is going to be a pool table and big screen. And then my barbershop's over here,
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be awesome. It's been my dream for years. And I've been wanting to do that even before I was a Christian. Not the cigar thing. I added that lately, but that's definitely going to be on my list of my forever barbershop. And God's making it look like it's going to happen. And I want to be able to do it where that's all I do for a living,
Do what you want to dream. Dream what you want to do. That made no sense. Do your dream. Words.
Dreams.
But I feel like God's going to open up a door and something's going to happen, But like I said, I don't have a state license to cut hair, but like a lot of people, it's just like somebody that does baking and works on your car,
And you are donations.
Yeah, that's why my dad contacted the Better Business Bureau, and I said, all you got to do is have a free will donation. As long as I don't make more than $600 per client per year, I don't have to do taxes. And there's no way. Even if I got a client I do 2 times a month, I maybe get $20. I normally get $20 a haircut. That's $40 a month. So that's no way close to $600 a year. It's like $240 or something. I don't even know. It's like under $300, even with tips. So like I said, I could keep doing this for a long time, So.
And it's been working out. And I apparently had never had the first haircut I ever went to Kenny for. I forget who told me about him. I think it was Caleb. And from Morning Eggnog.
Yeah.
And
plug.
And I think it was him.
Was.
And my previous haircut was from the Army sergeant. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I said, so my haircut was done by an Army sergeant. He said, were you in a Humvee in Iraq?
Yeah.
I said, practically. I just needed a haircut really bad, and
it was not good.
No, it was not. I don't know. I didn't get the front looked good enough to fool me, so I didn't care. But he about threw up, and he said, "All right, we're gonna fix you up here."
Dude, I've actually seen worse. I've seen people come to me straight from like first choice hair, and like, dude, you gotta fix this. One does look like I got a penis on his head. Like it was just poofy, and they just then around that. Like I put a rubber band and cut around and took a rubber band off. I'm like, there's no blend. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna blend this because they went so short to so long. I'm like, this is gonna be hard, but I did it.
My favorite haircut I ever got. We were going to a wedding, and I had to go to get I was like 10, and I had to get a Walmart haircut.
Oof.
And they cut my hair like a monk. They
call that the football helmet.
They like combed down my bangs, and then
zip.
They didn't go straight across. They went.
Yeah.
And it was 9-year-old me wasn't happy. I didn't care about fashion whatsoever. I still didn't like it.
Oh man.
My first haircut with Kenny. Wonderful experience. His drinks there. You really need to get your haircut.
Yeah, root beer.
Root
beer and water.
I always get the protein shakes.
I got glass bottle Coca-Colas. I got squirts, root beers. It's funny holding this in my hand. In my mind, I'm thinking it's a beer. I drank so long. Yep. I used to do not a trick. It was actually a feat of strength. I could bite the top of these beer cans off with my teeth, and I'd make money in bars.
I'll give you $1.
No, for real, that's what I used to do. Guys would do. I'd get beer all night, man. God,
yeah, I wasn't joking.
I could literally do. I could even do it with a full one, not even being open.
Is he gonna do this? I'm really happy about this right now.
No, I don't want no money. I'm just saying. I used to do that all the time.
That was quality.
I could take beer bottle caps and just bend them with my fingertips. It was just feats of strength I could do.
I mean, my teeth hurt. I have horrible teeth.
No, my gums just started bleeding a little bit.
No.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I used to be able to do it with a full beer without even spilling it, and I'd drink it.
If you have tricks, you can get lots of free beer.
Yeah.
If you, like, what I was watching something this guy could do. Oh, that's what it was. We were watching Botched. Have you ever heard of Botched? It's a really interesting show. And since you had your nose surgery, you probably would find it interesting. It's people who have had plastic surgery.
Surgery's gone bad or something.
Going to better plastic surgeons. And getting their work reworked.
Yeah.
And so this guy had a party trick. He didn't like his nose when he was like 16, so he got it fixed. And then when he got it fixed, basically they just took all the cartilage out of his nose, so he could push it all the way in.
So it's just flappy skin.
Yeah, he didn't have a nose, and so he could just push it in. So that was his party trick.
So he's just like a rubber doll or like a face mask.
That's gotta be dynamite for the women.
Oh, I'm sure, baby.
Okay, my nose won't get away when we kiss.
That's what
her nose goes into your nose.
I'd attach. I would attach like a honker in there. Yeah,
get a dog squeaky toy. Just kind of, fit it back in there.
He got it fixed, and it looked.
Oh wow,
it looks good. He was like, "Look, I can't push it in."
So they took out bone structure.
Yeah, they messed him up.
You got sinuses and all that stuff in there. Ooh.
So, anyways,
oof.
So I'm still coming down off him just ripping that off. Anywho, thank you guys so much for joining us on This Podcast is Lava. Thank you, Kenny, for coming. It's good having you.
Thanks for having me.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for updates on what's going on with the podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, PodBean, and now you can watch us on YouTube. You can email us at thispodcastislava@gmail.com or message us on Facebook and Instagram. If you have any topics you want us to cover, or if you have anybody that you want us to interview, we'll probably say no because it's in my house.
Please get interviews with like George Lucas.
Reach out to people who
Martin Scorsese. I don't know who that is, but I know the name.
See if Joe Rogan will be on our podcast.
Can we get Joe Rogan on This Podcast is Lava?
Right.
That'd be great. Let's make a petition.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful morning, noon, or night.
Thank you.